Good morning, everyone. It is the morning of the last day of the reading rush. And I think we're gonna make it. I'm 100 pages from the end of Mexican Gothic. It's really great. I don't wanna say anything about it because I don't wanna give anything away, like zero away. It is, all I can tell you is icky. And I like the spoopy nature. Other than that, I guess we'll see you at the end. What? So good, so gross. Read it. I'm not gonna tell you anything about it. Okay. I'm in a godly amount of tired. And after that, I need a goddamn nap. Okay. Bye. I totally wasn't kidding about that nap, but I think I'm gonna go read the Tea Dragon Society now. And I got into my yoga clothes because we're gonna do yoga later. Okay. Bye. That was so sweet and cute. Oh my gosh. That was such a short little book, and I am gonna read the second one now, the Tea Dragon Festival, because I need some more cute. That was so adorable. Those were the sweetest little books that I've ever read in my whole life. I want a whole animated series on Netflix. It was so cute. Loved it. It is the next day. Sorry I did not film an outro for the day of, but as you saw, we finished the Twilight series movies, and what the hell was that? It, like, sucked the life out of me. I had no energy to come in here after that rant and do a civilized outro, so I didn't. I just went to bed. But what the hell? What the shit was that? Anyway, so we're just gonna do a quick wrap up of everything that I finished. I did get to my 7-book goal and loved pretty much every book that I read, which is a huge win. Okay, let's go from the top. First thing I read was Convenience Store. I really enjoyed it, actually. I thought it was perfectly succinct, gave us everything we needed in the story. I loved the representation in it. I thought it was really short, but there was no need to draw it out, I guess. I got everything I needed and I liked it, and I will absolutely continue to read that author's stuff. The next book that I read was Red, White, and Royal Blue. I read that one on audio. I thought it was the sweetest thing. That book is about the first son and the prince in England have to fake this friendship for international affairs, and one thing leads to another. It's a romance, so you know how it ends. It was adorable. I loved it. I did not think I was gonna like it as much. I know that it got the hype, but I am somebody who doesn't want to romanticize political stories, especially in a time like now, but I thought that it really was great, and it didn't have really anything to do with politics in a way that was, we really focused on the boy's story. Obviously there is politics in it. He is involved with his mother's presidential campaign. There is some other political stuff that happens that is infuriating, obviously, but I thought that the love story was so sweet and so cute, and exactly what you need in the middle of a reading rush when you're freaking out that you're not going to get finished is just a tad of romance, you know? Next thing I read was The Vanishing Half. This is the book that's getting huge hype. I think it absolutely deserved the hype that it got. It's about two sisters who are twins, who come from this town of light-skinned Black people. So there's a lot about colorism in this book. They lose contact with each other. They lead completely separate lives, one trying to pass as white and one who falls in love with a dark-skinned Black man. So there was a lot about racism, colorism, generational stories. I know that in my reading vlog, I originally said that it wasn't done with a lot of flashback, but what I mean by that, it is absolutely flashbacks, but Britt Bennett does such a good job of writing these flashbacks that it just feels like she's writing stream of consciousness. Like, these characters are just triggered by something that's happening in present day and have a memory, and it just leads in such a fluid way. It doesn't feel like we're flashing back to tell part of the story. We're going back and forth in the timeline, even though we absolutely are, but it's just done so perfectly. So I thought that was amazing. I thought that it absolutely deserves all of the stars that people are giving it. Britt Bennett is a fantastic writer, and I can't wait for her next book. I think the next thing I picked up was Carol, or also known as The Price of Salt. This one took me a little bit longer to read, and I think it was just the style. It's an older book. The language was a lot harder to get through, especially in the beginning. I know in my vlog I talked about how the beginning drags, and I think that's why it took me a little bit longer to get into, but it drags for a reason. Therese's light, it kind of feels like she's like lost a little bit and she doesn't care. So the writing kind of felt like that, and the writing was very matter of fact, just like bup, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, this is how I feel, I don't really care, stuff like that, until she meets Carol. And then a whole new writing style is introduced, and not in a jarring way, but in such a natural, fluid way that, like, all of a sudden Therese has all these emotions that are coming out in the flowery writing, and things are a little less matter of fact, and I just thought it was really enjoyable. And it did take me a little bit to get into it, and I took a couple days to read it, but then once I got to that end half, it was like sped right back up. And I think if it wasn't the reading rush, I probably would have made it through a little less stinted, because, you know, we get through this reading rush, we're like, I'm so tired and my eyes are burning and I don't really want to do it anymore. I do recommend it. And if you love the movie, it does follow the movie pretty closely. The next book that I read is All Boys Aren't Blue. which is one of the most beautiful books that I've bought this year. This is meant for a younger audience. I think it's meant for a pretty young audience. Any kid who's going to go into a library and pick up books for themselves can probably pick up this book. It covers queer education, basically. How a kid like himself was learning how to be himself without knowing or having those examples in his life. He has a few people in his family that are queer or identify as other, and he talks about that in here and what that meant to him and how that shaped him. But this is a story for kids who don't have that kind of representation in their life and need to know that they're not alone and they're not weird and they're not wrong for being who they are. And I thought that was an incredible message. And memoirs, I feel like I always give memoirs a 5-star. I know a lot of people don't give stars to memoirs because it's like rating somebody's life. I always go the opposite and give them 5 stars because I feel like we need to be amplifying people who are sharing their own stories. And I think uplifting a voice like this is super important. And it's a memoir from an adult who had to write for a young audience and decide what was appropriate and what was necessary. And that's huge. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Like literally almost every book in this, I say almost, why did I say almost? Every book that I read this week was incredible. Good for me. I know myself. Good TBR picking. Next, I read Mexican Gothic, which I said over and over again, I don't want to tell you anything. I can tell you that it takes place in Mexico in an English manner. So there's not, I know I heard a lot of people sad that there wasn't more celebration of the Mexican culture, but that's not what this book is for. This book is about, it's like shows a lot of the horrendous things that white people did in Mexico and colonialism and capitalism in business and a lot of talk about eugenics, which is just disgusting and great for a horror book. It was incredible and I highly recommend it. I ended up reading Peek and King Kong for my book club. Unfortunately that was canceled, so I rushed to finish this for no reason, but it's fine because I really did want to finish it. This is a story about a man. It's like more than about this man named Sportcoat. He one day, and I'm not spoiling anything, he one day goes and shoots the prominent drug dealer in their neighborhood. This takes place in the projects in New York, and then it goes from there. And it's basically, it was great. And it's about so many different things. I'm newly learning how to talk about books, so words aren't very good for me. They're all up here. And eventually they'll learn how to make their way outside my mouth. But anyway, this book follows a lot of different characters from a bunch of different perspectives, and it was really sweet. This book feels so real and so realistic, even though it was like fantastical at some points. There was like some certain things, and it's basically, to me, about how incredible stories and puzzles and stuff like that are in everyday life. And Sportcoat learns a lot about himself, and it's never too late to fix what your purpose is. And that's sweet. That's beautiful. Totally recommend. The last book that I read is the Tea Dragon Society and the Tea Dragon Festival. I read both of these because they're very short and they're graphic novels and literally the sweetest books I've ever read in my life. They are so, it was like eating candy. The art is so amazing. The story is so sweet. It's about finding yourself and the preservation of craft. I literally will always give graphic novels 5 stars. They're always so good. And the art is so good. How can I not give a graphic novel 5 stars. Anyway, what did I learn while doing the reading rush? I learned that I can read 7 books in a week, and I could probably read more because there were certain days that I didn't read very much. I learned that I need to get more comfortable talking on the camera because I want to be able to share my opinion about books and talk freely, but this whole week it was like a crash course in vlogging. I learned that this eye is lazy. This was the first eye to go out. Every time I was reading, I was like, this one's blurry. I don't know what's going on. And as you can see, quarantine life is the same stuff every day, so we have to fill it with stories that we love. And the reading rush was a great way to see that. Because though all my days pretty much are like read, eat, sleep, read, eat, sleep, read, eat, sleep every day, whatever I'm reading is gonna shape my day while I have to stay inside. I have the hiccups now. But I also thought that I would not want to read after this, but I'm already like grabbing my next read. Because I read 7 books off of this, but I had a few more. Like, I still want to read A Burning. I didn't get to that one. The Source of Self-Regard by Toni Morrison, I'm definitely still going to read. But this was fun. I enjoyed it. I love reading. I will learn how to talk about books better because I have a lot of opinions, but they don't make their way out of my mouth. And what else did I learn? Twilight is infuriating. Like, what? Why did we do that to the world? I'm still like, what the hell was that last movie? What the hell? Whatever. Thank you so much for joining me on this reading rush journey. And you'll see me on the internet sometime later. Next week maybe. Maybe I'll keep making videos. Bye!